Hi everyone and welcome to Germany for Student channel. Today is the second lesson of A2 level of German language course, and today we are going to talk about two-way prepositions in German language. Two-way prepositions are also called Wechselpräpositionen. These are the prepositions which sometimes behave like accusative and sometimes behave like dative. So let's have a look at the prepositions first. What are these prepositions? The first preposition which acts like accusative in certain situations and acts like dative in other situation is un. Un means on, and if there is something on a vertical surface and we want to mention it in our sentence, then we can use this preposition un. Next preposition is auf. Auf preposition is also a two-way preposition which sometimes behave like accusative and sometimes behave like dative. If there is something on horizontal surface and we want to mention it, then we can use this preposition auf. Next is hinter, which means behind. In, in means in, like in English language. Neben, which means beside or next to. Next is über. Über means above or over. Next is unter. Unter means under or below. Then we have for preposition, which means before or in front of. And last two-way preposition is zwischen. Zwischen means between. So now let's talk about the most important question. What are the conditions or situations under which two-way preposition will behave like accusative? And what are the scenarios under which two-way preposition will act like dative? Now, the most important question is under which conditions or situations two-way preposition will act like accusative, and what are the scenarios under which two-way preposition will act like dative. For this, I have taken two examples. First example is Ich stelle das Fahrrad vor das Haus. And I have put accusative in front of this. And let's talk about the second example. Das Fahrrad steht vor dem Haus. And I have put dative in front of this example. So first look at the first example and see what does it mean. Ich stelle das Fahrrad vor das Haus. It means I am putting the cycle in front of the house. In this sentence, stellen is a verb which means to put or to place. And if we conjugate it with respect to ich subject, it will become stelle. Now you can see that in both examples, I have used same preposition for, and I have taken the same noun, which is house. And we know that house is a neuter noun and its accusative definite article is thus. Therefore, in the first example, I have used accusative definite article for house. And we know that the dative definite article for house is dem. Therefore, in the second example, I have used dem as definite article for a neuter noun house. But why I have used this? Now, in the first example, there is a movement. I am putting the cycle in front of the house. Therefore, whenever there is a movement in the sentence, then the all two-way prepositions will act like accusative. And the second example is das Fahrrad steht vor dem Haus. The cycle stands in front of the house. Now, in this example, there is no movement. Therefore, two-way preposition in this sentence will behave like dative. So that is the criteria. If there is a movement in the sentence, then two-way preposition will act like accusative. And if there is no movement in the sentence, then the two-way preposition will act like dative. Another way to understand this concept is by the use of W question words. So whenever I use W question word wohin and I ask a question and someone answers this question And in that question, if two-way preposition will be used, then that two-way preposition will act like accusative. So in the first example, if I ask a question, wohin stellst du das Fahrrad? Where are you putting the cycle? Then the answer will be, ich stelle das Fahrrad vor das Haus. I am putting the cycle in front of the house. The second option is to ask a question with a W question word wo. And whenever a question is asked with a W question word wo, and someone answers this question, and in that answer there is a two-way preposition, then we have to use that two-way preposition as dative preposition. So for the second example, if I ask, wo steht das Fahrrad? Where does the cycle stand? The answer will be, das Fahrrad steht vor dem Haus. The cycle stands in front of the house. So let's go through the examples for each two-way preposition. I have taken two examples for each two-way preposition so that we can differentiate between its use as accusative and as dative. So let's start with the preposition an. The first example is, er hängt das Bild an die Wand. He hangs the picture on the wall. And the second example is, das Bild hängt an der Wand. The picture hangs on the wall. So in the first example, I am hanging the picture on the wall. Therefore, there is a movement in this sentence. And whenever there is a movement in the sentence and we are using two-way preposition, this two-way preposition will act like accusative. And if we are using any definite article after two-way preposition, we have to use that definite article from accusative case. Therefore, want, which means wall, is a feminine noun, and the feminine definite article for accusative is D. Therefore, I have taken D in the first example as a definite article for a feminine noun, want. In the second example, I have used the same preposition and I have used same noun, but the definite article will be from the dative case because there is no movement in the sentence. So the definite article for a feminine noun in dative case is der. Therefore, I have used der want in the second example. Let's look at the next two-way preposition, which is auf. Sie setzt sich auf das Sofa. And the second example is, sie sitzt auf dem Sofa. In the first example, I have used the verb sich setzen, which means to sit down or to take seat. So in the first example, I am saying she is taking seat on the sofa or she is sitting down on the sofa. So in this example, there is a movement. Therefore, the definite article after two-way preposition will be from accusative because of the movement in the sentence. And in the second example, we will use auf dem Sofa because here we are saying she is sitting on the sofa. Sitzen means to be seated. There is no movement. Therefore, the definite article for neuter noun will be taken from the dative case, which is dem. Next two-way preposition is hinter. Let's look at the example. Paul bringt das Fahrrad hinter das Haus. Paul brings the cycle behind the house. The second example is, wir stehen hinter dem Haus. We stand behind the house. Now the difference in both examples is very clear. In the first example, there is some movement. Therefore, due to this movement, hinter preposition will act like accusative. and we will use definite article for accusative case for a neuter noun, which is thus. And in the second example, there is no movement. We stand behind the house. There is no movement in this sentence. Therefore, two-way preposition hinter will act like dative, and we will use the dative definite article for a neuter noun, which is dame. Now, if we ask a question, for the first example, we will ask the question, wohin bringt Paul das Fahrrad? And in the second example, we will ask the question, wo stehen wir? If we answer the question that starts with W question word wohin, and in the answer, we also use two-way preposition, then this two-way preposition will be acting like accusative. And if we ask a question with a W question word wo, then in the answer, if we use two-way preposition, this two-way preposition will be acting like dative, and we have to use dative definite article for whatever noun we are using. Now let's look at the next example. Next two-way preposition is in, which means in. Legt das Brot in den Korb. He puts or place bread in the basket. The second example is das Brot liegt im Korb. The bread lies in the basket. In these two examples, you can also notice the difference. In the first example, there is a movement. I am putting the bread in the basket. And in the second example, we are just telling that where is the bread. So in the first example, due to this movement, this in preposition will act like accusative, and the definite article for a masculine noun korb will be taken from accusative case, which is den for masculine noun. And in the second example, because there is no movement, therefore we have to use definite article from dative case for a masculine noun korb, and we have used here the short form of in dem. The short form is im. That is what we have used in this sentence. And if I ask a question with a W question word wohin, I will ask wohin legt das Brot? And in the answer, I have to use legt das Brot in den Korb. So if I ask the question with a W question word wo, I will ask wo liegt das Brot? And the answer will be das Brot liegt im Korb. So here I will automatically use in preposition in dative case because the question is asked with W question word wo. Next example of two-way preposition is neben, which means beside or next to. Stellt den Stuhl neben den Schrank. He puts the chair beside cupboard. And the second example of neben position will be der Stuhl steht neben dem Schrank. The chair stands beside the cupboard. In these two examples, the difference is again clear. In the first example, he is putting the chair beside the cupboard. So there is a movement. Therefore, this neben preposition will act like accusative, which means that for a masculine noun shrank, we will use definite article from accusative, and the definite article for a masculine noun in accusative is den. In the second example, we are just telling where is the chair, and there is no movement in this sentence. Therefore, neben preposition will act like dative, and we will use the definite article for masculine noun from dative case, which is dem. Now, if I ask the question for the first example, I will ask, wohin stellt den Stuhl? And the answer will be, stellt den Stuhl neben den Schrank. And in the second case, I will ask the question, wo steht der Stuhl. Der Stuhl steht neben dem Schrank. Next example is of preposition über, which means over or above. Er hängt die Lampe über den Tisch. He hangs the lamp above the table. The second example is die Lampe hängt über dem Tisch. The lamp is hanging above the table. So in these two examples, again, the difference is clear. In the first example, there is movement, therefore über preposition will act like accusative, and we will take the definite article for a masculine noun Tisch from the accusative case, which is den, and in the second example we will use the definite article from the dative case for a masculine noun Tisch, which is dem. In the first example, if I ask the question, I will ask with a W question word wohin. Wohin hängt die Lampe? And in the second example, I will ask the question, wo hängt die Lampe? Next example is unter. Unter means under. Die Katze läuft unter das Bett. The cat walks under the bed. The second example for this unter preposition is die Katze sitzt unter dem Bett. The cat sits under the bed. So again, in these two examples, in the first example, the cat is moving. The cat is walking under the bed, therefore there is a movement. And because of this movement, the unter preposition in the first sentence will act like accusative. Therefore, we will take the definite article for a neuter noun from accusative case, which is thus. And in the second example, we are only saying that cat sits under the bed. There is no movement in this sentence. Therefore, unter preposition will act like dative, and due to this dative behavior of unter preposition, we have to use definite article for a neuter noun in the dative case, which is dem. Let's look at the next example of for preposition, which means in front of or before. Ich stelle die Blumen vor das Fenster. I put the flowers in front of the window. The second example is die Blumen stehen vor dem Fenster. The flowers are in front of the window. In both examples, the difference is clear again. In the first example, I am putting the flowers in front of the window. Therefore, there is a movement in this sentence. And due to this movement, for preposition will act like accusative, which means we have to use accusative definite article for a neuter noun Fenster, which is thus. And in the second example, because there is no movement, therefore here the for preposition will act like dative, and we have to use definite article for neuter noun Fenster from the dative case, which is dem. So if I ask the question for the first example, I will ask wohin stelle ich die Blumen? And for the second example, I will ask with the W question word wo stehen die Blumen? And if we ask a question by using W question word wo, and in the answer, we use this two-way preposition, which can be for or any other two-way preposition, then we have to take this two-way preposition in dative case. Let's look at the last example, zwischen. Zwischen means between. Er stellt den Brief zwischen das Buch und den Roman. He puts the letter between the book and the novel. Second example is der Brief steht zwischen dem Buch und dem Roman. The letter is between the book and the novel. So in both examples, you can identify the difference, you can notice that in the first example, there is a movement. He is putting the letter between book and the novel. Therefore, due to this movement, two-way preposition swischen will act like accusative preposition, and we will use accusative definite article for neuter noun buch, which is thus, and accusative definite article for a masculine noun roman as then. In the second example, where there is no movement, we are simply saying that the letter is between the book and novel. In this example, due to the lack of movement, the swischen preposition will act like dative, and we have to use definite article for a neuter noun buch from dative case, and also we have to use definite article for a masculine noun from dative case like Dame Roman. So if I ask the question for the first example, I will ask the question with the W question word wohin. Wohin stellt den Brief? And the answer will be stellt den Brief zwischen das Buch und den Roman. And for the second example, if I want to ask a question, I will ask the question with a W question word wo steht der Brief? Der Brief steht zwischen dem Buch und dem Roman. So I hope that you understand this difference with all these examples. Wherever there is a movement in the sentence, the two-way preposition will act like accusative, and wherever there is no movement in the sentence, two-way preposition will act like dative. And what does it mean for two-way preposition to act like dative? It means that the definite article that comes after two-way preposition will be from the dative case. So whether the noun is masculine, neuter, or feminine, we have to take dative definite articles for the noun. And if there is a movement in the sentence, then we have to take accusative definite article or indefinite article, whatever is coming after the two-way preposition in the sentence. I hope you like the video. Please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And I will be looking forward to see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.